sad doesn't make you smart. It seems your heart just needs a fresh start.
Hello and welcome back to Mama What's Next, the podcast for women over 40 who are rebuilding, reinventing, or expanding through freelance business or portfolio careers and who need to become visible to make it happen. Today, I want to talk about something that is really important if you are going out pitching for freelance work or applying for jobs, potentially building a portfolio career. Because there's one tool that 99% of people are rarely using when they apply for jobs. And it's a really important tool that you can use to pitch yourself and fast track you to the shortlist. Because you have to know, in the age of AI, recruiters and hiring managers have to go through an average of 250 resumes for one single job opening. And it's becoming harder and harder, and they're having more and more applications to look through because people are starting to submit their resumes and cover letters with AI. You now need to find another way to stand out when you're pitching yourself. And of course, as potentially a creative, you might have a well-designed portfolio that you can submit. But let's say you are working in administration or you are working in a marketing role where you don't necessarily collect design and content samples, or you're working in project management. It's imperative that you find a way to make a recruiter or hiring manager consider you. Literally, they only look at your resume for 5 seconds to see if you're relevant. And in today's age, it's becoming so critical that they get a feeling for how are you as a human? How are you as a person? How do you feel like? And they want to know that really quickly. So I have worked with people in small group workshops where we basically take them through a number of steps to create a video of themselves that summarizes their experience, that finds the red line in their CV and career story, that highlights their skills, and what's really, really important, highlights the skills and why they are necessary for the job and the company that you're applying, to show why you're excited and why you want to work for that brand or company or in this particular position. Why video works? Because personality beats written words, because all these AI resumes, they're not getting you to the front of the line. However, a short clip lets a hiring manager quickly see the kind of energy you have, the clarity. They can quickly assess if you're a cultural fit for the companies, and it just takes them a few seconds. They can save time. They can quickly see what kind of storytelling, communication ability you have, and see if you're fit for the role and put you into that pile where they get you in for an interview, an online interview. And I know it might sound daunting at first, but in the end, you will have an additional tool that supports you in getting clients or getting hired. Even for me, this was really difficult to accept. And getting started with video as an introverted person and someone that's generally been quite scared to speak in front of people, I have come quite far. It's training, it's practice, I can promise you. It's not giving up when things get hard. It's not giving up when others stop or lose faith. I believe God put this desire and calling in your heart for a reason. this desire for that particular job or for this particular career journey. And I am not an overly confident marketing bro that's coaching you, that loves the attention and the camera and the limelight. Quite the opposite, actually. I am comfortable in the background. But in today's day and age, we can't afford to be in the background quietly hiding. We really can't. We need to use the tools that are available to stand out so you can get chosen and selected when the time comes and the company needs someone like you. So you get chosen when a potential client Googles what you offer.
It seems your heart just needs a fresh start.
Great brands and thought leaders don't build authority by trying to win over algorithms. They build it through meaningful conversations and stories that get translated into multiple formats and touchpoints. So just like Red Bull isn't just a drink, it's a global media empire that started with inspiring conversations across high-energy touchpoints. Online brands turn long-form interview content into blog content, socials, and email series to build authority and trust across platforms. And it all starts by simply having a conversation. That's exactly what I do with my content studio Sunny Chapter. We start with a conversation, an interview, a real exchange of thoughts and ideas right here with me. Not a script, not you performing on camera. It's just you talking about your story, what you know, what you teach. And then we turn that conversation into content that builds credibility and trust for you online. Quietly, consistently, and with integrity. So if showing up online has ever felt icky, forced, or not really like you, then this is the method you've been waiting for. If that sounds like you, please do reach out to me at mel@sunnychapter.com. By the way, all the playbooks and frameworks we share here for you on Mama What's Next, we send them to you through our newsletter each week. So if you'd like to learn more, please do sign up. The link is in the show notes. And when I say I am you, I really mean it. I have been solo parenting for the most part of the last 9 years, and I have really deeply wanted to live independently, make my own money, build a career that is really meaningful, and do something that matters. And I don't just have this one offer now that I promote here on the podcast. I actually work in a portfolio career, and I have done this for quite some time now because for me, that feels like the safest, freest option. I work permanently freelance with several companies on a contract basis, and they are very different types of work, whereas the majority is always spent on marketing because that's just where I have most of my experience. And I am building this offer here. And I love that. I love the variety and I love the brands I work with, the people, the impact I get to make. And all of these different types of jobs and roles I got because I actually stepped out of my comfort zone. I became more visible through video. And some of these jobs I created, like the podcast has helped me get a job where I can combine my HR and recruiting experience with my marketing experience and video skills that I taught myself and combined everything. And now I'm able to help other people successfully apply to work and roles so that they have a chance to stand out in this crowded job market. So I really want to recommend this very effective tool and adding video to your application or resume or pitching. Because particularly for creative, client-facing, servicing roles, it increases your interview chances when video is strategically used in your application. It simply allows you to showcase your energy and your communication skills in a way that a resume or CV can never do it. The important part is don't replace your CV completely, just add it to your existing resume. Keep it short, that's very important. People often think the longer the better, and I have edited videos that are like 3.5 minutes long. That's not great. Hiring managers don't have the time, and it ends up becoming just a very long story that you tell. But what you really want to focus on is just showing your personality and the highlights of your career journey and why you are relevant and why they should pick you for this particular role and what your skill set does for them in this particular job. And the quality is important. It's important that you use a well-lit room and it has great audio and the background looks professional and it's personalized to the particular specific role that you want to apply for. So I highly recommend it. I will talk about this a little bit more. I also have a fantastic example because I recently spoke to someone that I've interviewed on the podcast, and she works in a creative role. And when we did an interview together over a year ago, she never really even thought of this having any impact on her career journey. But she works in her creative field, but she also applies for teaching roles now. And while she was getting interviews, she wasn't able to close any of the job opportunities for the teaching roles. And when she was talking to a particular school, it wasn't going so well at first. And then she called them up and they had a conversation about it. And then the school told her they actually found the video interview with her online. And they said that made all the difference because this way they got to know her so well, all the information and all the stories that she didn't tell on her website in a way that they could connect with. Here in this video, because we had a conversation, she wasn't just presenting herself. We actually had a conversation about her background, her journey, her work, why she does the work, why this matters to her, the kind of impact she wants to make in the world. And it showcased everything about her in a very natural, authentic way, and it made them say yes in the end. So I really highly recommend it. I hope you're giving this a second thought. Thank you so much for listening today. I am Mel, a visibility and brand strategist, helping women over 40 tell the story of their next chapter in a way that makes the right people say yes. And at Sunny Chapter, that's exactly what we do. So thank you so much for joining me today. If this episode was valuable for you today and you enjoy listening to Mama What's Next, I would be so grateful if you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or hit the little subscribe button at the top. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.